Greetings. I am the Reverend Brian Bennett, campus pastor for the Lutheran Campus Ministry in Greater Pittsburgh and chair of the Council of Religious Advisors here at Carnegie Mellon. At the beginning of our lives, all seems to be a blank slate upon which we might write our future. As we move forward in that, we make certain decisions that lead in particular directions, and we leave some avenues behind. Our passions and skills help us decide which route to take. And for you, as you enter Carnegie Mellon, you have tried many things. In the end, you sought out an elite institution that prizes students who are multi-talented. You're not one-dimensional creatures that seek out only one path. For in a culture that tells us often that we are what we do, or we are what we have, those false messages can lead us down a path that cuts us off from others. Our vision becomes myopic, and we begin pursuing one thing to the exclusion of all others. We become the very thin entities that we simply are not. For this way leads us most often to curve in on ourselves. And so I remind you of Socrates' dictum, "The unexamined life is not worth living." In Socrates' thought, to achieve the good life, we pursue wisdom and self-knowledge to make ourselves and those around us happy and better. We need people who can explore the world around them as well as their very selves, so that a beautiful world might be made better by strengthening the relationships with each other and creation that are currently not as they should be. Our efforts here in this community should seek the common good for all. The work you pursue here is not just about procurement of tools for your proverbial toolbox, but also a continued transformation of self, for the transformation of the world begins there. Many religions and secular philosophies point regularly to our responsibility to repair the world. Many of you have served and volunteered on behalf of others. Please do not let that stop now. Continue exploring yourself in the very many ways that bring wholeness and peace to yourself and others. Avoid the forces that would seek to divide and weaken us. Seek out the betterment of the full breadth of yourselves for the sake of the world. Thank you.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Convocation 2019. My name is Zhang Kehui, but I go by Rosie. I am one of this year's head orientation counselors. It is my honor to welcome you to the Carnegie Mellon community. We have gathered here this afternoon to share a tradition we call Convocation. Convocation formally marks the beginning of your college career, a bookend that complements graduation as the formal conclusion. Take a look around you at your fellow peers in the class of 2023 plus. In several years, you will gather as an entire class at your commencement in Gessling Stadium, marking the end of a small migration from one side of campus to the other. I remember sitting in those same seats as a first year. Truthfully, at that time, I couldn't have imagined that I'd be standing here in front of you in just 3 years. From then to now, I've goofed around with a lot of different groups, performed exactly 4 choreographed routines each summer for orientation, solved quite a few problem sets, mostly successfully, and had numerous breakthroughs, big and small, academic and otherwise. Your time at CMU isn't going to be just one set path. It will be multiple adventures going on at the same time, ones that are social, emotional, academic, and everything in between. Convocation is your official first step in your college experience. The previous few days of orientation were just a prequel, hopefully better than the Star Wars ones. There are going to be a lot of speakers on stage during this program, and we hope you really listen to their messages. The speakers you'll hear from will provide valuable perspectives, personal insights, and some cool tips and tricks to make the most of your time at Carnegie Mellon. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you our provost, Dr. James Garrett. Oh, sorry. Dr. Garrett was named Provost and Chief Academic Officer of Carnegie Mellon University effective January 1st, 2019. A member of CMU faculty since 1990, he became Dean of Carnegie Mellon University's College of Engineering in 2013. Immediately prior to that, he spent 6 years as head of the college's Department of Civil and Environmental Engineering. Provost Garrett is Carnegie Mellon Plaid through and through, having received his bachelor's, master's, and doctoral degrees in civil and environmental engineering from the institution. Among his many recognitions and awards, in 2018, Provost Garrett was awarded the title of Distinguished Member of the American Society of Civil Engineers, the highest honor available for civil engineers. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Jim Garrett to the podium.
Good afternoon, Carnegie Mellon class of 2023 plus. Rosie, thank you for that kind introduction, and also my appreciation to you and other head orientation counselors for creating such an engaging experience for our first-year students. Let's give Rosie and her head counselors a big round of applause. Yes, you can stand. Each year I get excited for orientation week because you can just feel the energy of a new academic year beginning. And I hope each of you had an exciting, enjoyable, and memorable time as you arrived on campus. As Rosie said, I am your provost, and I'm so thrilled to join President Jahanian, our deans, university leadership in welcoming you to your new home, Carnegie Mellon University. Now, most of you may be wondering, what exactly does a provost do? Am I right? Do any of you know? There's some snide remarks going on up here. I began my role as provost, as Rosie said, also called the Chief Academic Officer in January. So this is my first convocation as provost. And as provost, it's my job to lead and manage all academic activities at the university. Working closely with President Jahanian, your deans, the faculty, staff, and students, it is my responsibility to establish the vision for education at this university. I also work with your deans to define, prioritize, and implement academic programs and initiatives that are aligned with this vision. And since January, I've had the pleasure to meet with students, faculty, and staff about what opportunities we can prioritize to create the best learning environment possible. I'll confess, it's been a lot of hard work. But hey, I'm from CMU, and I'm having the time of my life. As Rosie said, I myself graduated from CMU with 3 degrees. I left Pittsburgh after I earned my PhD here and worked elsewhere for a short time, but came back to Carnegie Mellon for many good reasons. I had and still have such a deep respect for the culture here, for the people and their collegiality, for the academic excellence, and for the unlimited collaborative research opportunities that are provided here. And no doubt, you have your own reasons that brought you to Carnegie Mellon. Maybe you were drawn to the campus for our excellent fine arts programs. Or maybe it was the opportunity to learn from the world's most brilliant designers, scientists, engineers, thought leaders in the humanities and social sciences, or policy and business leaders. The bottom line is most of you chose CMU precisely for its outstanding academic reputation. You have trusted us to deliver an exceptional education. And we promise each and every one of you that we will deliver. Every year at Convocation, it is our tradition for the provost to quote our revered benefactor, Andrew Carnegie, when he established what we now know as Carnegie Mellon University. Our story began on November 15th, 1900. It's a bifocals. 1900, when Carnegie wrote to the mayor of Pittsburgh announcing his wish to establish a technical school. He wrote, "If the city of Pittsburgh can furnish a site, I shall be delighted to furnish money for a school. There are many questions to decide, involving investigation, careful study, and much labor. But I am in a position to assure you that my heart is in the work. With that letter, this university began, and the phrase, "My heart is in the work," became our motto. And I'm confident that this phrase will come to resonate in different ways for each of you. The city of Pittsburgh provided the land we are sitting on, and in 1905, the inaugural class of 120 students entered what is now CMU, most attending part-time in the evenings, after work, and more than 90% hailing from Pittsburgh. Now, over a century later, here you are, very different from the first class in just about every way. This year, CMU has 1,585 first-year students from 43 states and 30 countries, and half of you are women. Our global, intellectually diverse community has a deep tradition of excelling in education, research, creativity, and scholarship. Today, you join our community, and each of you have earned your spot. I'd like to share some advice that I hope you can take to heart as you move through your studies here at CMU. First, take advantage of this great academic community. We have a caring network of academic advisors, faculty, and counselors, many of whom are sitting up here on the stage with us. They're always available to engage you in your research, to discuss your course choices and career aspirations, and yes, to assist you with challenges you are facing in your studies and in your lives. Second, become fully engaged with the campus community outside of the classroom to cultivate that sense of connection to CMU. You can apply your academic work through service and study abroad, or join student clubs with others who share common interests. CMU is a place where you can be your true, authentic self, a place where you can shine as an individual and as a member of our community. And third, and most importantly, take care of yourself and take care of one another. Seek help when you need it and give it when you can. Share your perspectives with one another. Listen and learn. I'm always eager to know as many students as I can, so let's not be strangers. If you see me on campus, say, "Hi, Jim." And yes, in this semester, I will start hosting office hours, open office hours, where you can meet with me to talk about how things are going, discuss exciting new ideas, or share issues of concern. I'm proud to be your provost, and I'm proud that each of you are now a part of our Carnegie Mellon community, and I truly hope you all enjoy this wonderful new chapter in your lives. Thank you. It is now my pleasure to introduce our student body president, who will share his perspective on the Carnegie Mellon experience. Evan Fader is a third-year student majoring in information systems in our Dietrich College. Please join me in welcoming Evan to the podium.
Thank you, Dr. Garrett. Wow, it's crazy to be up here on this side of the stage, because it was only about 2 years ago that I was seated somewhere around, wait, we aren't in the orientation tent, are we? Oh, the rain really ruined my speech. I like to call that a Pittsburgh welcome. Well, 2 years ago, I was seated outside in that gigantic tent over there, wearing some suit that was definitely too big on me, listening to person after person walk up here, hands clapping, their mouths moving, the presentation slides flow up, and it's a lot. Honestly, I don't exactly remember Convocation. I definitely don't remember the student body president speech, which is a big relief for me because none of you are going to remember this either. Now, while I could not recall his speech, I can remember the first time I did meet Neil, the student body president at the time, after we were paired for an academic mentorship program. What do I remember about our first meeting? Well, I remember that I was definitely quiet. I was nervous. I didn't even have an answer to the classic, "So tell me about yourself." I was a nervous first year. I was a blank slate. But I met a mentor that day. Neil encouraged me to get out more, join some clubs. Neil inspired me to ask out my first girlfriend. And honestly, without Neil, I would not be up here on this stage today. Mentorship is a word that gets thrown around a lot, but for good reason. The most powerful tool here at Carnegie Mellon is knowledge, and the right mentors can provide you with guidance you need, the information you otherwise lack, that will send you off on the road to success. Here at CMU, you will find advisors, professors, staff members, upperclassmen, especially upperclassmen, so many individuals who are willing to look out for you and give you the help you need and share their experiences. Even friends, mentors. But really, don't be afraid to put yourself out there and ask for some help sometimes. When I first walked onto campus, a nervous, quiet freshman, it was through the help of friends and mentors like Neil that I now call this university that I love home. Oh, Pittsburgh. Now, I do remember other bits and pieces about orientation week. It's really hard to forget being woken up by pop music or bagpipes at 7 a.m., or how way too overly energetic all of you OCs are. Oh my God, how do you guys have so much energy? Can you please give another round of applause to all the wonderful orientation staff we have here? But what I really remember most is the people that I met orientation week. I want everyone to take a quick look to the person on your left. Now the person on your right. Take a look at all the friends you've made over just the past few days. The people you meet in college can, and often will, be friends for life. They can give you something to do when you're bored and awake at 3 a.m. for no apparent reason. They can help get you through some really tough times. They can save your life on difficult homework and problem sets. I've been through all that and more with my friends. But many of these friends weren't actually people I met during orientation week. Hold on to the friendships you've made so far, but do not be afraid to make some new ones. And for those of you who feel like you don't exactly fit in yet, it's okay. It's only week 1. You'll meet new people every day here at Carnegie Mellon. Each semester is a brand new opportunity to make connections between new classes and activities you do here on campus. Just don't be afraid to say hi to someone new. Each new friend you make is a new opportunity to meet someone who motivates you to reach even higher and fly higher than you've ever flown before. You've only got a few short years here. Why not make the most of it? Well, how do you make the most of it? What does that even mean? As I said, walking in as a first year, you are a blank slate, a blank canvas that has not yet been painted. From this day on, you are the final result of a seemingly complex yet simple combination, a mathematical union of two fundamental aspects, your environment and your choices. We are all here to welcome you to Carnegie Mellon, your new environment, an amazing environment, a place where anyone can truly become their best self. No matter your background, you have the ability to thrive wholeheartedly at this incredible institution of learning. You just have to make that choice to do so. When you wake up this Monday morning, summer camp will unfortunately be over. It will be time to go to class, do your homework if you want, join some clubs, take advantage of the million offerings CMU has to provide. It may seem like a lot, and really it is. It can be incredibly overwhelming at first. I definitely was. But there are plenty of people, mentors, out there to help you along the way. Don't forget about these people that you have in your life. CMU is an incredibly collaborative environment. But these mentors can only hand you that easel, recommend a color palette, and place that paintbrush into your hand. It's up to you to then paint your blank canvas. It is the choices that you make, that determine how this canvas gets painted, And at the end of each and every day, those choices are entirely up to each and every one of you. I have seen students, your fellow peers here at this university, do incredible things. Each year, hundreds of your peers take place in Booth, building literal houses in a parking lot over there. Last spring, your peers installed an entire theme park ride in Skibo Gymnasium. At a hackathon recently, a team put a fish tank on a robot and made it move in the direction the fish is swimming. Now, if that is not the most Carnegie Mellon thing I have ever heard, I don't know what is. These incredible things were created by you, students here in this very spot. I cannot wait to see all the amazing things that you all do over the next few years. Last May, I had the privilege to sit out at Gessling Stadium, where I looked upon thousands of students basking in the very rare Pittsburgh sun, waiting patiently to graduate as part of the class of 2019. Their commencement speaker was none other than award-winning actor, author, and musician Leslie Odom Jr. But before Mr. Odom stood on stage addressing thousands of students, before he released a #1 Billboard jazz album, and even before he originated the character of Aaron Burr in the award-winning Broadway play Hamilton, Mr. Odom Jr. walked these halls 20 years ago as an undergraduate student at Carnegie Mellon. He is just one of the amazing alumni that have walked out of these halls. He and many others definitely learned to paint their own canvas. In the play Hamilton, Mr. Odom's character, Aaron Burr, finds himself in conflict with Alexander Hamilton over the latter's philosophy to work until he always achieves his goals, to not throw away his shot. Hamilton works as hard as possible with every opportunity to do what he thinks is right, while Burr prefers to wait for it and let opportunities come to him. Being only a few years away from sitting out there at Gessling yourself, listening to your very own graduation speaker, I am telling you right now, in this very moment, you do not have time to wait for it. Before you leave these halls to join some prestigious job in industry or attend a top-tier graduate school, make sure to really enjoy your life here. Join a top-ranked auto racing team. Hack your way to the top in one of our competitive programming groups. Act in a student-written play. Work on some crazy software startup idea. Learn various yarn creation techniques with the CMU Yarnivores. Join our new dog appreciation club and pet some CMU dogs. Meet some of those lifelong friends. Think big and dream bigger. Make these moments count. Anything, I'm telling you, is possible here. These amazing years of your life are going to be over before you know it. Do not throw away your shot. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to invite Rosie back to the podium.
Thank you, Evan. It is now my pleasure to introduce Professor Karen Stumpf. Professor Stumpf is the Director of Undergraduate Studies and Teaching Professor in Chemistry, and is well known as a great teacher and mentor to undergraduate students. In recent years, she's gained recognition for her work as an advisor and received the Teaching Innovation Award for her work developing the first-year seminar for MCS. Please join me in welcoming Professor Stumpf to the stage.
Thank you, Rosie. Good afternoon. Thanks. I can't really see if there's anybody out there, but I trust that you're there. I'd like to join the many faculty, staff, and students who this week have extended a very warm welcome to you, the Carnegie Mellon class of 2023+. I'm here today to provide some guidance and advice from a faculty perspective as you head into the start of your academic work. I was honored, but also a bit intimidated when I was asked to speak today. However, I am a believer that as educators, we must also continue to be students. Putting ourselves in novel situations that challenge us as learners is important in thinking about how we work with you in classes and other learning opportunities over the coming years. When I'm scared or nervous about taking on something new, as some of you might be at this juncture, I consider risk. What's the worst case scenario I can envision? And if that's acceptable, I have more confidence moving forward. In this case, I thought, well, maybe the worst case would be I wouldn't be asked to speak at this event again, and okay, I can accept it. I also considered that there, like Evan said, there's a high likelihood that you will remember little of the specifics, as this is but one talk among many this week. I determined that if all you remember was that there was a faculty member who's genuinely excited to partner with you on this journey, then that's really all that's necessary. Perhaps that means I should just stopped here, but as a parent, fairly recent grandparent, teacher, and academic advisor, I do find it rather difficult to keep my opinions to myself. So I definitely look upon this as a target of opportunity. The theme of this year's orientation, as you know, is breakthrough, a word that usually indicates a sudden, dramatic development. For the purpose of this talk, I would like to use it initially as two words, breakthrough. To make the most of this experience, you need to be willing to break through preconceptions you might have, those regarding who you are and who or what you will become, what you are and are not good at, and consider what that means with regard to learning in any case, what you think you already know or still need to explore, and what you want to study. To make the most of your time here, you need to be willing to be surprised by the people you will meet, peers, staff, and faculty, the classes you will take, and the organizations, activities, and research you will engage in. I'm a chemist, and as a faculty member do a lot of laboratory teaching. I believe that hands-on chemistry is amazing and enjoy using visual demonstrations of chemistry concepts in my teaching. So in talking about the element of surprise, I'll turn to some chemistry. And I have to thank the folks organizing this event who decided that they would let me go along and do this, because it's kind of not a typical thing up here. The question is, are they safe? I was asked whether everyone on stage should wear safety glasses, but I think it's going to be okay. All right, so I have here 8 empty, hopefully clean beakers. Okay. I have 2 solutions, and I'm going to add some of each of those in turn to these beakers. So the solution is clear, colorless. If I add clear, colorless solution to 8 empty beakers, make a prediction about what will happen. All right, in all probability, fascinating. Clear, colorless solution in 8 beakers. All right, so predictable so far. Okay, now I have a second clear, colorless solution. And I'm going to add some to each of these beakers in turn as well. Now, you might expect, not so exciting so far, you might expect some changes, because otherwise this would be really boring. But it would probably be expected that as I add the solution, that the same thing would happen in each of the beakers. Well, this is not exactly going according to plan. All right. I kind of need some larger beakers or more concentrated solution. We'll see if we can maybe add a little bit more. All right. So the lesson here is that don't always think that you know what's going to happen. All right? It's really important that you look up periodically. All right? Take a look and engage with the world around you and be willing to be surprised. If you want to talk about how that happened or why it happened, my office is in Doherty Hall, and I welcome visitors. Even if class material sounds like something you've learned before, engage with it. Look for opportunities that afford you to find nuances you've never noticed before, applications that will lead to breakthroughs, one word, by the people you are learning from and with. I'm always amazed when I teach something again that even now I see connections that were not apparent before, often due to seeing it through your eyes as we explore the material together. In looking up, I encourage you to connect with those in your academic life whose job it is to reach out their hand to you. It is one of the great strengths of this institution that there are many individuals here to support you academically. In this, we have taken one of the premier research universities in the world, and I believe given it the character of a much smaller place, leading to a more personalized experience. It is very easy, though, to feel intimidated here as you immerse yourself in a community that's so rich in talent. Many of us, myself included, and probably at least some of those here on the stage, have or will feel this at some time. How can we possibly measure up? It can make it hard to ask for help. Break through your inhibitions and any tendency to find fault with your efforts and reach out to some of those talented people, celebrating in the accomplishments of others and sometimes just enjoying the opportunity to go along for the ride. You may be surprised by where it will take you. Next, look at your academic experience as far more than a body of formal coursework. You're sculpting a resume where classwork only constitutes one portion of the whole. Get involved in the campus and greater Pittsburgh community, but also think about how you engage with people. Observation number 2, small changes in who you know can yield big benefits. Get to know your advisors, faculty members, graduate TAs, and peers who act as academic coaches, supplemental instructors, peer tutors, and teaching assistants. If you're doing well academically, which we certainly hope you will, connect because they're experts in their field and can help you explore beyond the course material and are enthusiastic about sharing that excitement, or perhaps even engaging with you in the work. If you find yourself having some rough periods academically, we really do care about helping you identify the problem and can assist in finding solutions. As you go forward, you will want a number of faculty who can know you as more than a grade. You want a cadre of people who can highlight for others that distinctive you, with an understanding of your strengths and aspirations, with knowledge of your good work and habits, and insight into your motivation. Please don't think that you have to be the top student to build those relationships and receive that kind of acknowledgement. Small things can help get you noticed and remembered positively. Smiling, as the provost said, when you see us on campus, being alert and curious in class, engaging with us outside of class. Sometimes your small actions can open important doors and make you seem like just the right person to invite for new opportunities. I brought another visual demonstration to this point. In the cylinder, I have some dish detergent and hydrogen peroxide. The purpose is to demonstrate the rather large change brought about by something as simple as adding some salt. So small actions can catalyze much bigger things, such as a first-year student who struck up a conversation with a faculty member at an orientation event not long ago, it leading to a research project in atmospheric chemistry that has since led him to a Goldwater Scholarship and an International Summer Research Fellowship in Great Britain. My last piece of advice is to be thoughtful in crafting your journey, keeping your individual goals and values in mind, or at least to begin to discover what your goals may be. When I asked an alum what he would have wanted to hear at Convocation, he said something that reminded me of a line from one of my favorite movies. Toto, we're not in Kansas, but substitute high school anymore. For the majority of you, academic life will be very different for you at Carnegie Mellon than it was in high school. John W. Gardner said the ultimate goal of the educational system is to shift to the individual the burden of pursuing their own education. This major shift towards independent responsibility happens almost immediately during your college experience. As teachers, it's our role to academically lay out the signs for the road trip, to provide you with the opportunity to travel and support you along the way, but it's up to you to develop the itinerary and navigate the journey, making this your journey. In the book, How to Find the Work We Love, Lawrence Bolt talks about how our expectations regarding work have changed dramatically, from doing the work we were born into doing, to working to make a living, to looking to find a place for your heart and soul in your work. In your academic work here, search for those things you can see investing in over a lifetime. Don't be intimidated by the often overused phrase of finding your passion, because that doesn't always happen right away. Did I always know that chemistry was what I wanted to do? No. I loved history and English. Honestly, I went into chemistry because someone who should have known better told me that I couldn't because I was female. My position at CMU did not exist when I started. The same is true for the majority of jobs you will hold on graduation. So recognize that your journey may be quite different from that of your friends, and that you may have the opportunity to invent a lot of where you will go. So it's worth thinking about what can energize you over many years. So to recap, be willing to be surprised. You can't make breakthroughs, one word, if you approach every experiment being certain of the answer you think you will get. Most of our paths in life are not straight or predictable. Second, take some academic risks. A student headed for medical school decided to take a philosophy course as one of those required electives, found that she loved it, and instead did graduate work in biomedical ethics. Another student started as an architect, but discovered through a random elective that he enjoyed designing molecules too. He received a BA in both chemistry and architecture, and just finished his PhD in natural products chemistry. An art student was concerned about transferring colleges because she would have to take a course in computer science. She finished 2 degrees, one in CS, and is now working at Google. Break through your fears and try new things. Lastly, make time and opportunity to reflect on what you love. Utilize the people around you to help you do this. It's impossible at this juncture to accurately picture your future self, who will be the end user for the path you will construct here. Don't assume that you know yourself well enough yet intellectually to be certain about what you will and will not enjoy studying, or what may interest you in a few years. Plant some seeds that may lead to breakthroughs, one word, when the time is right for them. The next 4 or 5 years should be a time of great change for you. Don't be afraid of it, but relish in the possibilities. Break through. So best of luck on this day and the tomorrows yet to come that will constitute your Carnegie Mellon experience. Welcome to our community. I now invite Rosie back to the podium.
Thank you, Professor Stumpf. As Dr. Garrett mentioned, Carnegie Mellon University opened their doors in 1905. 120 students comprised the charter class. When these students graduated in June of 1908, a bronze tile was installed in the floor of the entrance of Baker Hall to commemorate their accomplishments. In that tradition, a tile has been added to the floor each year thereafter to honor the most recent graduating class. I'd like to introduce 2 members of the class of 2023 plus that were chosen to receive your class tile. Michael G. is a student in the School of Computer Science from Sydney, Australia. He lives in Mudge House. Natalie Salazar is a student in the Tepper School of Business. She is from Houston, Texas, and lives in Boss House on the Hill. Will Michael and Natalie please come forward? It is our hope that this tile will pass through the hands of every member of your class over the next 4 years. The math recommends that you start passing it on pretty quickly to achieve this lofty goal. Hopefully it goes through all of the different residence halls and a few lectures as well, obviously not while the professor is speaking. By the time it gets back to commencement, it'll reflect the numerous memories from the entire class of 2023 plus. These next 4 years will hold many things for you: new people, new experiences, and new challenges. Some might call them breakthroughs. I hope that when your tile is added to Baker Hall upon your commencement, you will have made the most of these new opportunities and contributed in your own unique way to the Carnegie Mellon community. It is my pleasure to present the class of 2023 plus with your class tile. Thank you to Natalie and Michael. You may be seated. It is now my pleasure to introduce Carnegie Mellon University's 10th president, Dr. Farnham Jahanian. Known for his passionate engagement with students and his dedication to improving their experience on campus, Dr. Jahanian has already had an enormous impact on Carnegie Mellon, and he and his wife Tris are also proud parents of a CMU alumna. Ladies and gentlemen, the president of Carnegie Mellon University, Dr. Farnham Jahanian.
Thank you, Rosie. Thank you. Okay, so before I start, I have another lesson to share with you. You notice that when Professor Stumpf was doing her chemistry experiment over here, the dean of Mellon College of Science, who oversees chemistry, was sitting over there. And the dean of engineering, computer science, and Dietrich were sitting over here. I don't know what that lesson is, but you need to talk to the dean of Mellon College of Science to find out. Thank you, Rosie, for your leadership throughout the orientation and also for your kind introduction. Also, thanks to Reverend Bennett for your inspiring words, Reverend, and also to Professor Stumpf. Thank you for your thoughtful remarks as our keynote speaker. Please join me again thanking our keynote speakers today. Also, I want to say that I'm really sorry that we all can't be together, especially those of you who are watching this remotely, that we all can't be together under the tent outside. As you know, we were expecting some bad weather today. And because of that prediction, we couldn't be here. I should also tell you something about the CMU tradition. It's CMU tradition that the provost, one of his job is that he's responsible for the weather. Provost Garrett neglected to tell you that. So let's thank Provost Garrett for today's weather. Would you join me? Having served as provost at this fine institution, I can tell you that that is the toughest job on campus without any doubt. Good afternoon, Carnegie Mellon class of 2023. I started Sunday's remarks with your parents and family members with a question. So let me start with a familiar question. And by the way, those of you who are watching remotely, you can respond. Class of 2023, are you still excited to be here? Gina, what have they been doing past 5 days? They seem asleep. All right, let me start again. Are you all mostly Dietrich students? All right, class of 2023. Are you still excited to be here? All right, that's much better. Much better, much better. What an amazing day to be an incoming student at Carnegie Mellon. I also want to take a moment, of course, to thank my partner, Provost Jim Garrett, and also Student Body President Evan Fetter for their warm remarks. I should tell you, I was appointed as president, but Evan was elected as president. So I also want to welcome all of the members of the university leadership team with me on this stage and also sitting right here, including our deans, associate deans, vice provosts, and vice presidents. Please join me thanking the leadership team of the university. Students, I know that you've started to get to know your academic deans and, of course, the college leadership, but there is one more person that I would like to introduce to you, our Dean of Admissions, Mike Steidel. Mike and his team, as you can tell, did an amazing job handling more than 27,000 applications this year. I think you'll agree with me that our admissions team has an outstanding judgment that they've shown this year. Mike, will you please stand to be recognized? Mike Steidel, our Dean of Admissions. Good job, Mike. Good job. I also want to extend a very special thanks to everyone who's made this orientation such a success. Of course, Gina Castellino, our Dean of Students and Vice President for Student Affairs, Julie Schultz, Gwendolyn Stevens, Haley, Kenny, and entire Student Affairs crew, and of course, countless staff members across the CMU academic and administrative units who've contributed to this week. Orientation Week's success depends on relentless enthusiasm and dedication of so many people, especially our student volunteers. At this time, please join me in thanking your outstanding head orientation counselors. The orientation counselors, if you're here, I can't see you. When I call your name, please stand to be recognized. Pankaj Bajwani for Morewood Gardens and E-Tower. Thank you, Pankaj. Lexi Elliott and Rosie Zhang for The Hill. Emma Farrell for Oakland. Chris Fulton for Stever House. Conlon Novak for Donner House. And Izzy Show for Mudge House. In addition to these terrific 7 head OCs, there are 165 orientation leaders and counselors who have worked hard to make your first few days on campus so welcoming. In total, there are more than 200 student volunteers assisting with close to over 200 orientation events, not to mention 135 resident assistants, community advisors, and house fellows who are helping you settle in your new homes across our 6 first-year residence communities. Last but not least, I want to thank Bridget Tan and Laura Bressler and the student staff of the Activities Board Technical Committee who volunteer each year to help with all the technical needs for Orientation Week programming. Once again, let's give all of these leaders, organizers, and volunteers a round of applause. Over the last 5 days, you have already begun to absorb the CMU culture and learn the rhythm of our campus. And of course, you've started to hear a lot about bagpipes. That's usually a cue that something special or ceremonial is about to happen. Today is no different. Today is the official start of your college experience. So let's take a moment to appreciate where you are and the journey you are about to embark upon. Savor the sights and sounds. In fact, I encourage you to do this throughout your college career over the next few years. As many older adults and older students have probably already told you, with probably a wistful or jealous look in their eyes, that college goes by so fast. So every once in a while, in fact, do this today when you leave this building. When you're out on the cut, for example, stop for a moment and just look around. You're at CMU. Remind yourself that you're exactly where you want to be. This is a wondrous moment in your life, and that you have earned this rare opportunity to expand your horizons with some of the most gifted scholars on the planet. The next 4 years will undoubtedly be some of the most transformative of your young lives. You will begin lifelong friendships and discover passions that ignite academic and professional careers. CMU will change you, and you will change CMU. As I mentioned during my welcome address on Sunday, you have also arrived at Carnegie Mellon at a pivotal time for our community. There has never been a more exciting time to be a student at Carnegie Mellon. In this constantly evolving future, the potential for a profound impact is extraordinary. Consider for a moment how much the world has changed in just the last 10 or 12 years. I would like to share just a couple of examples with you. You could not order an Uber 10 years ago, until 2009. The first generation of iPhones were actually launched in 2007. Google Maps wasn't launched until 2008, 2009. In fact, you used to have to print out maps before you start leaving for a trip. Imagine that. Your parents used to do that. That's why they got lost all the time. And in August 2008, the domain name bitcoin.org was quietly registered online. 2 years later, in 2010, someone bought 2 pizzas with 10,000 bitcoins, which today could be worth close to $100 million. What new innovations or paradigm shifts will we see in the next decade or so? While I can't predict the future, I can say with confidence that CMU will continue to create and manage the space where technology and society intersect. And our students, faculty, staff, and alumni will continue to shape emerging intellectual domains, advance human knowledge, and pursue new modes of creative expression. We not only embrace new paradigms here at CMU, we define them. As you set out to make your mark, I want you to keep in mind Carnegie Mellon is more than just academics. We are a community connected to one another by a common sense of purpose, pride, and spirit, and by a core set of values that include diversity and inclusion, collaboration, empathy, and respect. Let these values guide you in your interactions with one another and with the faculty and staff on this campus. Even when you encounter perspective or ideas that are different from yours, here at Carnegie Mellon, we all bear responsibility for ensuring that this university is inclusive and welcoming, where every person is treated with respect and dignity. We ask you to help us nurture that culture. When we recruit diverse perspectives and ideas to our community, help people from all walks of life succeed, and consider ideas from across the spectrum in a culture of civil discourse, we all win. This is a reminder that freedom of speech is core to our democracy, and it is a foundational value here at Carnegie Mellon. Let it guide your experiences here, knowing that respectful free sharing of ideas, thoughts, and opinions is what makes us strong and fruitful. Class of 2023, whatever your CMU school, college, or field of study, I am confident that each of you will not only come to respect and appreciate our unique CMU culture, you will also shape it over the next 4 years. So once again, welcome to the Carnegie Mellon community, and enjoy this most wonderful chapter in your lives. Thank you very much. Now we will welcome you, our newest students, to the Carnegie Mellon family by presenting our deans and college leadership to each of the colleges. So I'm going to go through one college at a time and the different programs and invite the leadership of the colleges or the program to stand. Normally what we would do is we would welcome your cheers, but since we're not together, I'll let you do the cheers when you go outside. So, will the dean and the college leadership from the College of Engineering please rise? Dean Kagan and college leaders, I present you to the College of Engineering class of 2023. Congratulations, please be seated. Will the dean and the college leadership from the College of Fine Arts please rise? Dean. Dean Martin and college leaders, I present you to the CFA class of 2023 and 2024 for architecture. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the deans from the Bachelor of Humanities and Arts program, the Bachelor of Science and Arts program, and the Bachelor of Computer Science and Arts please rise? Dean Martin, Dean Shyness, Dean Dorj, Dean Marshall Airbear, and leaders of the College of Fine Arts, the Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences, Mellon College of Science, and the School of Computer Science, I present you to the BHA, BSA, and BCSA class of 23. Congratulations, please be seated. Will the dean and the college leadership from the Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences please rise? Dean Shyness and college leaders, I present you to the Dietrich College of Humanities and Social Sciences class of 2023. Congratulations, please be seated. Will the deans and the college leadership from the Sciences and Humanities Scholars Program please rise? That's Dean Dorj, Dean Shyness, and college leaders. You know who they are. I present you to the SHS class of 23. Congratulations, please be seated. Will the dean and college leadership from the Mellon College of Science please rise? Dean Dorj and college leaders, I present you to the MCS class of 2023. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the dean and school leadership from the School of Computer Science please rise? Dean Rivera and school leaders, I present you to the SCS class of 2023. Congratulations. Please be seated. Will the dean and the college leadership from the Tepper School of Business please rise? Dean Damon and college leaders, I present you to the Tepper School of Business class of 2023. Congratulations. This just about concludes our ceremony, but please rise if you're able and remain standing as we conclude our formal program. We invite you now to join a group of our student vocalists as they lead us in singing the Alma Mater.
Here where spangled wildernesses robe the fountains of the West, where the savage strife and stresses brought the settlers' dreams in quest, land of legend, glory, graces, gypsy tide and toiling shore, mid the hilltops Alma Mater stands enthroned forevermore. All hail Carnegie, Alma Mater stands enthroned forevermore.
Thank you, vocalists, for that lovely rendition of our alma mater. In a moment, the bagpipers will begin playing to conclude our program. In closing, I'd like to express my thanks to President Jahanian, Provost Garrett, Professor Stumpf, Mr. Fader, Reverend Bennett, deans, faculty, staff, friends, and most of all, you, class of 2023 plus, for attending this special ceremony today. I look forward to joining you all at tonight's celebratory convocation dinner in Wiegand Gymnasium. Once again, I welcome you to the Carnegie Mellon community and wish you the best for this coming semester and the rest of your time here at CMU. Thank you, and enjoy the remainder of orientation.